ZenAku actually being the hang 3-0 is going to affect him in any way. I think it's just going to treat it like any other game. But very, very excited to see this. We haven't seen this series between these two players in a very long time since Stage 1 finals, and they're here, they're back, and both going to play against each other once again in the first map and the second series of the day.
Live and direct right now, starting off on Sib here on Awoken. Bit of a slow start here as Sib making sure he grabs LG, a little bit of Tri-Bolt as well. Nothing too crazy off the start, Lethal.
No, not really. Sib atomic control, just looking to see where ZenAku could be pushing from. Realise if it's still in that rail area. Good rocket, but good rail from ZenAku. As Sib has backed away, but realise if ZenAku is heavily pushing him here, trying to use that Tri-Bolt to keep his distance, but also inflict a little bit of damage if he can. Did make a quick prediction with the telly. Just missed out only by a small amount, 3 HP fully. What a way to get that first frag, and he's right near the armor, right near the health bubbles as well, just to recuperate from the damage he took in that last fight. And he now needs to try and keep ZenAku away, but he can't because already ZenAku's kept him back with that rail.
A really good rail there to make sure that he wins out on this Mega. Tries to stabilize a little, going down one early, but not the end of the world here. Sib doing a good job of making sure he's picking up on the lights. A little bit of damage to give him information on where Zen might go as he gets a rail, but Zen there to punish, and that's going to be big. Taking out a totem. Sib still hanging by a thread, and Zen around the corner. Takes a little bit of damage, but he'll trade that out for the frag. Ties it at 1.
Still has a
missed jump there.
Oh, as you say that. Gets the first rail. Typical. Misses the second, but it doesn't matter. The damage has been done. It should be okay getting this heavy. Sib doesn't want to take the risk. Both of them have missed that rail, but he's looking for that try, but he doesn't get it, but knows that he's going to go for the light top mid. Sib has got away, but how long for? As Sib does return with one rail, doesn't get hit the second, but good comeback from ZenAku as he takes the lead 2-1 in the first map. Good first rail. Will he go for the second? No, he's just going to back away. He realises that with the rockets in Sib's hands, it's just not in a good position, but tries to pick him up with the LG, cleans him top mid. Very good stuff. 3 HP. And still continuing to look very, very good. He's going to see if he can clean him up again with the LG, but it's just not going to happen. But what a rail as Sib was going for the heavy.
And heavy is still up. Sib is going to be able to respawn and grab his own rocket launcher and get that heavy, but ZenAku off to a strong start. And, you know, it's worth mentioning, if we haven't before, ZenAku really, really good with the rail. He's one of those players where he can get a little streaky and just start popping off, and Sib has to be wary about that. And if Sib doesn't hit his rails, that's going to happen, as we've seen ZenAku push in with LG multiple times already, taking a big 4-frag lead early, Lethal.
Very interesting start. How is Sib going to respond, though? That's going to be another question. He's just spawning that telly, drop downs to the nail. Looking to go for the heavy, which he picks it up nicely. Not contested too much, but ZenAku just on the back foot now, just looking to see what play he'd like to make here. Just keeping his distance, rightly so. Trying to find out where Sib could be going. Knows that he's top mid directly above him. Good first rail. Sib will be pressuring towards that Mega shortly. Tri-Bolt doesn't hit, but then again, Sib doesn't hit his either. As he has picked up the light, looking to contest his heavy coming up in the next few seconds. Sib has dropped down for it, taking a huge amount of damage in the process, but ZenAku drops down the totem, hits the rail, backs away. He does have the advantage in terms of HP, but is still reliable, but not anymore after recuperating from that last bout. So looking very good again from ZenAku, just trying to keep away from Sib, but good direct and good follow-up rocket straight afterwards for we. This is madness.
Yeah, Zen with great rockets right there. I do like Sib earlier near the power-up. He did check right behind that broken wall. So he's doing a good job of trying to keep the totems in check, as ZenAku hasn't really gotten any kind of overstack going, but he doesn't need it, Lethal. He's up 5. He's running the map rather well. Not complete control, but good enough, as they're kind of just trading out the major items. Sib opting for more heavies than megas, and ZenAku vice versa, and the push won't do it. The rockets don't land. ZenAku gets another frag.
ZenAku playing this, he's so calm, but yet at the same time playing a very fast tempo orientated game. Just taking it by the horns at the moment, hitting so many great shots. And I would love to know one day, like, you know, just ask a few questions to ZenAku, just what he's changed to make such a dramatic improvement in terms of his style and what he's done in order to make such a vast improvement since the end of stage 2. But looking very good, looking very solid here, just making all the right plays at the right time, just taking advantage of every situation which has occurred. in terms of percentile, but now we're at the halfway point. ZenAku up 8-1, just hitting everything he should do, but Sib finally responds, but still got a fair amount of time to work with.
Really beautiful combination there from Sib after a little bit of fancy footwork to dodge the damage and win out on a Mega, but Zen already punishing again, giving up 1 frag, and Sib, you know, the exchange rate's not there, Lethal. One frag, giving up 4, that's not going to be what you need here as he's missing on that rail, unfortunately, on the Mega, so that's going to be clean for Zen halfway through map number 1, and Sib has to clean up some things as Zen is just getting the better of him. Another missed rail, and again, ZenAku right there to punish. The minute Sib does not connect with a rail, ZenAku has the damage there to counter, and that time finishes with a rail of his own.
Yeah, I need to point this out. ZenAku's got a 70% rail. He's hit 20 shots as well. And LG 48%, 71% rail now. Just constantly hitting him like it's nothing. It's just ridiculous to say the least. I kind of feel like ZenAku's like, I feel like he's DM'd for 12 hours and gone, right, I'm ready for Pro League.
Maybe. I mean, sometimes that's what you got to do. You just got to play DM for 46 hours and make sure your aim is on point. As Sib down by 8, missing with the air rocket, has the unfortunate position and lack of stack now, but somehow stays alive, 36 HP. Still in this one, although it's looking more and more dire as time ticks away. ZenAku just has all the answers. Again, I feel like Sib was caught out with rail one too many times. ZenAku there to push and punish with LG appropriately. Good rail from Sib. Needs a little bit more as he knocks him back down off the jump pad, just missing out on the opportunity. Does hit another one as ZenAku wants to try and fight for this heavy. This could be it, but he misses with the rail and he doesn't even steal the heavy, and that is just back-breaking Lethal.
Yeah, physically, I feel like ZenAku's hit a new whole plateau in terms of the changes he's made over the last few weeks. Just absolute madness. It's just a joy to witness the path which ZenAku has taken in the Pro League and how much he's improved. But no, this is still only the first map of the second series of the day. And if ZenAku keeps doing rails like this, then you know, it could potentially be another 3-0. It just depends what Sib wants to do and go about things. But Sib's run out of ideas. Like, you know, what can he do to get some kind of revenge in this matchup? I think it's too little too late now. A 10 frag deficit, 2 minutes 40 left. And the directs now again from ZenAku, just keeping his opponent at bay.
And just Zen just repositioning, hitting rails, rockets, everything he needs to, and he can kind of play a defensive stance now. 230, but he wants blood as he pushes in with the LG, catching out Sib, and not quite enough. Sib gets the better of him this time. Still a tremendous amount of work to do, extremely weak off the spawn, can't really fight for this heavy, but at this point doesn't have a choice. He's just got to make all of this damage count. He's going to take his time, just make sure he doesn't concede the frag, but I still feel like it's going to take an absolute miracle. 9 frags in 2 minutes would be absurd.
Yeah, it would be absurd indeed, especially considering ZenAku has been trying to keep his distance from the very beginning of this matchup and only choosing what fights to take in his favour rather than the other way round and overextending. Sib though does get clipped a little bit by that rocket. There's a little bit of return damage as ZenAku's trying to go away, but sadly for Sib, he's going to miss that jump towards the rail. He's going to re-heal, and ZenAku knows that he will be trying to go back there once again. Takes a rail at 18 HP. Will ZenAku be able to clean this up? No, he will not. He decides to prioritise positioning rather than go for the kill. But rightly so, he's still got 1:20 left, so still got plenty of time to try and go for the flank to clean up Sib if he wants to. Again, another rail. This is ridiculous from ZenAku.
It's absurd. 60%, hitting an immense amount of 1,700 damage in comparison to Sib's 477, barely hitting 500. And that's just bad news bears. As the map has gone on, ZenAku has increased his item control as well, taking more and more items away from Sib, leaving him with less options. And Sib, even the rails that he's trying to hit defensively to stop the push, he misses one, and Zen is just on him with the LG, taking the frags. And as the time ticks down, this was a very, very strong map 1 from ZenAku. And Sib's got to clean some things up for sure going into Vale. It's going to be a different ballgame, of course. I mean, the map a lot more claustrophobic, to me anyway. And we're going to have Aizen versus Scale, so different pacing, I think. But all in all, a strong start for Zen. And hopefully, if you're a Sib fan, you can bounce back on map number 2.
Yeah, ZenAku just dishing the dirt here, just doing so well. I didn't really feel like the map in the slightest got out of hands. I kind of felt like ZenAku had full control, had a good setup for every single engagement. As soon as he had some kind of percentile advantage, which he wanted to take, he just took it by the horns and just didn't even think twice. Good initiative. Just again, like a joy to watch as ZenAku takes that first map quite convincingly. We'll see if Sib can come back from this. Look at the damage counter, 2,243 more damage, and like you said earlier, 1,900 damage with the rail, over 2,000 with the LG, and 25 items taken. Yeah, sure, fair enough. It is the the map choice of ZenAku, but is it going to make much of a difference in maps 2 and 3? We'll have to see. You've got to remember though, I did mention before the series, but Sib does have a big advantage in terms of map picks. He does have Veil and Molten in the next couple of maps, and we'll see if he can make any difference in terms of the scoreline.
Yeah, and I think the way that the map started, it felt like Sib just had rail out a little too much, and ZenAku was able to push in with LG and kind of make him pay the price. And also, he kept those pocket totems. He didn't really get an overstack going, but Zen, when he needed him, he always had a totem on him to re-heal in the middle of a fight and kind of finish things out. And I think that was really the decider there. As kind of the map went on, it spiraled more and more in Zen's favor. He got more map control, and then naturally, in conjunction with hitting just insane amount of rail damage, naturally it's going to flow your way. It was going to take a lot for Sib to claw his way back into that one. But there is the final score, 14-3, starting off this series. And for those playing the home version, keeping tabs, if it matters, that was Sib's server. So we're going to hop over to ZenAku's for map number 2. But that's the breakdown of map number 1. Item control and damage firmly in ZenAku's favor. Sib has his work cut out for him, I think, going into map number 2. He's got the Eisen against Scale, though, so I think that turret is going to be a big critical component in making sure the Bull Rush doesn't really get off the ground and get Zen a lot of damage, as Timmy can kind of bite the bullet, if you will, Lethal, and take the brunt of it.
I just find it crazy that ZenAku's style of play, it changes every 4 months. And then when we go around that 4-month kind of period where we switches, we're just like, what have you done with this person? Like, he's completely, he's a new man. Like, he's completely changed entirely. And it's just balmy. I just hope, there isn't element of any kind of inconsistency in his gameplay at all. I'm sure the other players in the Americas region are going to be thinking, okay, this guy's actually improved quite a lot compared to what we saw a few weeks ago. And eventually, if he does take out, a huge amount of players in the Americas region, even players like Rafa could be like, right, I need to focus a bit more on what this guy's up to and how I'm going to be able to counteract anything he does. So we are still going into map number 2. That's only map number 1 at the second series of the day. Look and see how Sib can retaliate once again. And it is going to be on Veil. It's these next 2 maps we know Sib does enjoy. It's just a matter of what he can do against a really strong ZenAku, and a unformed ZenAku to say the least. And we're going to start off from the man himself and see what he's up to from his POV, as we're actually going to go to Sib. Never mind.
Just a troll. Just a prank, bro. As looking at the predictions real quick, Zen coin through the roof. I believe chat needs to put a little more respect on Sib's name, only 8%. Here is an initial scuffle here, as Sib needs to be careful. Does have that turret in hand in case Timmy needs to clap back and help out Eisen just a skosh. We've seen Zen more than proficient on the scale, as he was actually one of the only ones to take a map off Rafa, and there's the shoulder to the face. And the timing almost. I was worried that he was going to drop a little bit early, but he gets the frag, he has the timing on the Mega, and this is going to be a strong start for Zen.
Yeah, I love that from ZenAku. He's just constantly contesting those rockets. He knows at some stage in this game Sib will try and pick it up, but now has changed his mind, goes towards the top tri-bolt. Has dropped down, bad timing sadly for him, but he's got such a huge stack. I don't think he's going to worry too much in the slightest, as Mega is coming up in the next couple of seconds. He's going to portal through to see if he can keep Sib away. Does a little bit of damage, misses the rail, so now he's going to be on the back foot looking to recuperate from his losses, as the heavy will be up in the next 12 seconds. Still looking to see what Sib could be up to, but it's dropped down, wants to be fully back to his default stack in case he takes a bad engagement, but the heavy will be up any second now. Does manage to pick it up, which is not what we expected, but maybe Sib just didn't have the timing on it fully. But that was a good rocket. It's going to push straight on through. The timing causing a few issues here and there. He pushed him into the Mega 40, left on 13 HP, but returns the rail straight afterwards.
Somehow stays alive and gets decent damage to even up the stacks, and ZenAku is just such a gentleman. He says, you know what, here's your item. 2 minutes in, Can he get the frag? There's a little bit of rockets. Good rail from Sib, keeping ZenAku weak. He needs to be careful, and the trade comes out as Sib gets caught around the corner. ZenAku maintains his lead, but really critical there that Sib got that frag.
Yeah, indeed. Just the heavy has been picked up, but not before absorbing that rail from Sib. Still looking to get away as fast as he can. Not too much damage on the rocket, but no, 17 will do its dues just to keep him away just for the little bit. And Sib has just changed his turret placement just to keep that door open. Still waiting for him to portal through, but he's actually nowhere near. Still down on that top rail area. Sib realises exactly where he is now. Hasn't taken any rocket damage there. It was quite fortunate considering. And already ZenAku's just waiting on that Mega, assuming he's still down below, but he's not. Still high above, all high and mighty, picking up the Mega, and the Heavy is still up here fully as ZenAku's managed to grab it, and still quite even here. ZenAku's still up 2-1 on this second map.
I like the idea there from Sib. He was playing off Zen and leaving both items up and just trying to get some good damage and maybe cut off. But Zen a little too quick, was able to sneak in on the Heavy. Nevertheless, though, Sib maintaining high ground, which is going to be critical here as the bull rush is back up for Zen. Needs to be careful through that portal, and there's the turret. He needs to get behind Timmy, but the strafe around. Zen takes so much damage, but somehow turns that around. I thought he was dead to rights lethal.
I did as well, I'm not going to lie, as he still pushes in again. He did have that turret in the back pocket from waiting so long for ZenAku to push. And that's right, Sib was teetering around that turret. I did like that turret placement. Normally it's in between the two pillars or a little bit further back from the telly, but a little bit of a change here. But that direct Sib took earlier, and now the rail, just to add insult to injury, kept in that rail spawn. ZenAku though, prioritising the Mega, rightly so as well. Sib going towards the rockets, picks up the lights. And ZenAku's looking to see where he's going to go next. Hasn't picked up the Heavy, just trying to delay it just a little bit, just to keep the items segregated. He has got a huge stack to his name and looking to keep that for the next couple of minutes if possible. And ZenAku's still charging down Sib. I don't think Sib's going to expect this if he drops down here. Good first round. Perfect opportunity for ZenAku to now push this with the rockets, but it's actually decided to pull back again to flank round to see if he does go towards the light and the Mega. He doesn't. Oh, that was such a good prediction from ZenAku if he just waited a little bit sooner, but it doesn't matter as he's still got a big advantage.
Yeah, maintaining full item control even off of that misread a little bit there. It was just mistiming more than anything, but Sib's able to stack back up to 100-100. That's going to be critical for him. He's playing this nice and slow. I like that, being very, very cautious, but still taking rails around the corner there as he does plant one on Zen as well, but he's going to do a little bit more. That's a big rocket into a rail. Sib heating up right now. Can he close this one out? He needs more damage. Does have a turret at his disposal, but after that Mega pickup, here's the bull rush. The turret won't save you. A bit of a misplace there, and Zen just casually strides past it and gets that frag 4-1 as he's opening this one up.
Oh, that's a shame for Sib. Sib dodged those rockets earlier so well. But yet that first rail from ZenAku into the charge. So the bull rush just did not happen. Good nail to rail. 64 HP, just recuperating just a little bit here. As he's up 5-1. I feel sorry for ZenAku. He's making all the right reads at the right times, but he's just, you know, the timing of Sib making some of his pushes, it's just not helping him at all. Oh, what a rail as well. What a response. 6-1 now. And you can see there, he knew that he was one MG shot away from being taken down. He had the right idea, but just didn't want to get taken down. Finally, he does after a long period of time, but Sib still has plenty of time to work with him.
It's just dealing with that stack of scale. Sib doing a decent job of getting so much damage out, but Scale's so thick and tanky and girthy that he just has 10, 5 HP always remaining at the end of those fights. And with rails like that, Zen just putting out damage as well, but good return from Sib. This is an opportunity here. Lands a little bit of damage around the corner, but he's going to need more bull rushes available. Needs to be careful here. Good rockets catching him out of nail, but there's the shoulder check into the rocket. Sib thankfully trades that out with a rocket of his own and should have position on this Mega, but wow, Zen turning that around and somehow getting a mutual is going to be big, especially since he's maintaining a 4 frag lead off the back of that.
That's the bull rush for you, but the direct isn't going to help either. ZenAku did actually take a fair amount of damage from that turret, and Sib picked up the Heavy, but ZenAku responded well with a rail, a second rail as well. Very, very good stuff from ZenAku, but he needs to continue to keep his distance. Even though he's got the stack, he needs to wait for that bull rush to come in too. So any chance he can get in close range, he's going to be happy as Larry. as he's still got 3 minutes left. So going to push in and try and get that first rail onto the Mega, but sadly he does not. But good rocket here. He's going to go for the bull rush. We're about to clean him up, but yes, he does. Left on 21 HP. The heavy is up as well. He's going to take down the turret first. Will he get railed? No, he will not. He actually spawned above the LG. But looking good here for ZenAku, as Sib still needs 5 more frags to catch up and to even the scoreline.
Zen's so weak for so long, now able to stack back up. Just a nightmare for Sib right now, as he does prioritize the light. Now he's playing off of the Mega, so still maintaining item control, and that's big for Sib as the cutoff comes out. Really good read into LG, into Rockets. Can't decide how he wants to kill Zen. He's going to opt for the shotgun. They should be able to do it. One last blast, and unfortunately for Zen, the trade will not occur this time. So Sib, not as clean as he'd like, but this is the opening that he needs. Does grab the heavy. Does have the turret in place to try and make a play onto this Mega, as well as Zen taking so much damage. Timmy, Jesus Christ.
What was that, 8 or 9 hits and like 120, 135 damage from that turret?
That sequence was exactly what Sib needed. Not only did he survive, but the bull rush is out. Sib gets a Mega essentially for free, and he has position on the heavy. So this is a big, big opportunity. Now, as Sib, all the cards in his hand to try and take this back.
It's just a beautiful,
and again,
beautiful
Zen getting caught out with the turret.
It's just a beautiful sound, isn't it? It's like I said, it's not a turret placement you would normally see. Normally in front of the 2 pillars or behind the teddy as you go through the portal. But yeah, a little bit strange here. ZenAku's still looking for that trade frag. Not going to get it. Sib is still looking massively stacked. Actually didn't take any damage from that bull rush either. I think there's more folks are trying to get away. And what a comeback from Sib. A huge mistakes being made for ZenAku is now Sib is massively caught up. We you know, made the assumption that this is going to be a write-off, but absolutely not. As Sib is actually back in play and has got a minute left to come back from this. Is this going to be the moment where he ties things up? Is ZenAku trying to back away, and Sib has tied things up here for me.
And Sib is just playing so well right now. That bull rush earlier that we saw was no damage. I don't know what happened. It looks like they were holding hands, walking together, singing, people let me tell you about my best friend. And 8-8, ZenAku is able to get a Mega. Sib a little bit weak now, needs to be careful playing for this heavy, but this heavy might consider the end of the match. It might decide everything is what I'm trying to say, as I'm fumbling around everything lethal, and ZenAku fumbling his way towards an LG kill and the lead. 30 seconds left, all the pressure on Sib.
So I fumbled more than you have, don't you worry about that, as already ZenAku's laying the pressure down on Sib, just doing so much. And even by the time Sib manages to restack, I don't think there's going to be any way that he can come back from this. Good couple of rockets from ZenAku, good bull rush as well, just to support the cause in case it doesn't do enough to finish things off. But good damage from 2 rockets again. Both of them come out with the gauntlet, and that is going to be another victory for ZenAku. 11-8. That does mean that he's won 2 maps straight. Still going into a 3rd map soon. And look at the damage though. Sib actually did a lot better in terms of damage count and map present. We saw a much better version of Sib than we saw on the first map. Both of them actually hit 52% rail. Both of them fired 25 shots. And you saw that Sib had better, you know, tracking in terms of the LG. But apart from that, though, Sib did much better. But I kind of felt like ZenAku didn't let things get out of hand in any way, apart from the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I mean, there was like a 4-minute sequence there where everyone was selling their Zen coin, and they were like, what in the hell is happening? The market's crashing, but he's able to stabilize. As Sib played that sequence very well, but unfortunately for him, just early on in the game, the turret play, the positioning wasn't necessarily poor, but since he put it down early, Zen took note of that and was able to bull rush around it, still get the damage. We saw shoulder checks coming out, and just again, it was a matter of good rails from Zen, good item control, and Sib was kind of left on the weak sides of the map dealing with the light armors and not really getting the turret support that you need as an Aizen, especially going against such a tanky, girthy, throbbing scale bearer.
I love it when you put it like 40. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm pretty sure everyone else loves it as well. As yeah, Sib, it's going to be tough. Like, it's gone from this should be a close match to it's actually going to be a tall order. I don't think I'd say that. I know ZenAku's improved a great deal in the last month, but I don't think he's would make this much of an impact. I think a lot of people were probably thinking to themselves, okay, look, ZenAku's defeated the Hang 3-0. Clearly wasn't a fluke. He clearly did a good job, but, you know, what's his level of consistency? Like, is he going to have to do the same again to all the other America's players? And if he does, then even players like Rafa and some of the top EU players are going to be, you know, a little bit worried going into the Stage 3 final. Still quite a while away, so, you know, he's got to show at least 3 months of consistency leading up to that stage and leading up to that moment. But so far, looking very, very good. 21 items in control compared to the 17 of Sib. Just a little bit of a slip up in those last few minutes. He just maybe tried to go for the trade frag a bit too much, and maybe just let things get a little bit out of hand. Maybe he's been a little bit too careless. I don't think he'll make that same mistake again. He's realised that it was just a little bit too much. He tried to force certain amount of pressure on which just wasn't necessary or required. And again, Sib, he had some good turret placement. He placed a turret where, you know, he can contest the heavy and be a bit of a pain in the backside towards the mega if anyone portals through. So, you know, I can understand the strategic method there from Sib. So both players have had some good strengths, but ZenAku, I would say in that first map, I don't think he was worried. I just feel like nothing was really out of control for him in the slightest. A little bit of out of control between the 79-minute mark for ZenAku, but then he rectified that straight afterwards, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Yeah, going into map number 3, Molten Falls, we'll get in there shortly. This was the map where I was kind of eyeing the matchup and giving it to Sib a little bit here, as it's going to be the Sorlag for Sib versus Strog on Zen, but Zen's playing so well with the item control and positioning and that rail. I mean, both players there hitting about 62%, if I remember correctly, so Sib's rail is heating up, but I just feel like Zen has been hitting the defensive shots to keep a Sib out every time he wants to try and, you know, finish off a frag, and that could play a huge part in this one, potentially. Another 3-0 for ZenAku, Lethal, but I'm sure Sib has something to say about that, especially with that thick sorbet that we all love to see.
Oh, of course. You know, I think we are going to Molten Falls, I believe, and I kind of feel like this is the map which Sib excels at more than anyone, you know, compared to most of the players in the Americas region. It's like the CNZ of the EU region for Molten Falls. This is where, you know, I kind of see Sib in terms of where he's placed in terms of the map pool. So, you know, I do feel like this is still one of his strongest maps. I do feel like Vale is as well. Just, you saw things just got a little bit out of hand for ZenAku, but he managed to control that nicely. I feel like ZenAku can control things a little bit better. He's got a lot more space to work with as well. We'll have to see though, you know, with ZenAku, he's been playing very well. I hope he continues with that consistency going forward. Sib with the Sorlag, and you saw ZenAku with the Strog. So let's see what he can do here. See if Sib can bring at least one map back, or if ZenAku can end this on another 3-0 series to continue his path of destruction in the Pro League.
Yeah, if Zen can put a bow on it, I'm sure he'd be more than happy, and Sib trying to get at least one a map on there, as every map counts as money in your pocket, Lethal, and also just seeding, as ZenAku waiting patiently. Good rail around the corner here as Sib has him trapped, but he's just, look at this, look at the, what? I just don't understand. ZenAku's just like, that's fine. I will just hit everything and force you off.
Oh dear me, so it continues. The pressure from ZenAku just trying to go straight in. Oh, that was a great play from ZenAku, but oh, he hits that rail as well, and he can wait for days here, Paul. Even if you're taking damage from that acid split, doesn't matter. So he picks up the light, the megas come up in the next 12 seconds. Items are already heavily segregated, so now ZenAku can go for both. Of course, he will be going for that mega first. If he does, hits the first rail. Good angle there. I don't think Sib actually expected him to be in that rail spot, considering Mega's coming up first, but the Mega is still up here, and he's actually purposely gone for the heavy just to annoy Sib a little bit and to actually try and contest it. But even if he burns it, it doesn't matter. He can go for the Mega straight afterwards. Wow. Good rail, good Shogun to clean up, and now he'll go for the Mega.
Just, you can tell how comfortable Sib is. This is like a different player than we've seen in the past stages, as the rockets just bouncing Sib around. Zen playing really well positionally, keeping items to his back, attacking on items when he needs to, and somehow, by the skin of his teeth, Lethal, 1 HP. This is big opportunity here for Sib. He's going to run the map. Can ZenAku stack back up enough to even get near the Mega and maybe do a rail? This should be a frag. Big shotgun blast will do it. Sib is on the board.
Yeah, I never felt like ZenAku's actually dwindled down in skill over the last 12 months. He's either stayed the same or made massive improvements. You never see little improvements for ZenAku. It's always a big change or no change at all, and this is definitely a big change coming into stage 3. Great retaliation. Sib taking down that Pika, 48 HP. ZenAku just trying to look for this frag if he can grab it, but not going to happen. Doesn't matter though. The whole point of that bout was to get the heavy. He wins it. Not too much contention afterwards, and now Sib is looking to see if he can contest this Mega if he can. Trying to rain down a couple of rockets, only rain down one. ZenAku's just going to push straight in, no holds barred, and already in 2.5 minutes of play, it's going to be 5-1 in favour of ZenAku.
And Sib is just struggling to land the damage that he needs here, as he's getting massively out-damaged by Zen here. Only about 800 points of damage in total for Sib. Meanwhile, 750 for Rockets and 720 for Rail, respectively, for Zen. So just 2 weapons alone almost out-damaging Sib here. As he does spit preemptively to try and make sure that he gets this Mega for free. The Rail will finally miss. A little bit of breathing room for Sib there. As Zen just looking so strong. Again, right around the corner. Nowhere is safe.
No.
There's 2. He's going for 3. Swaps to Rockets, though. Sib with 2 rails of his own. Zen lands the 3rd, and he's able to tank maybe another one here. Sib needs to be really careful. He's posting up. Both players want a piece of it, and there's one flying by. Zen will just take the light and make sure that he grabs the heavy afterwards.
The funny thing is, ZenAku knew that like Sib was just waiting down there for like a little pop shot before he clears off. But again, ZenAku 8 HP. Oh, he's not going to be able to get to the health bubble in time. Way too far away. Doesn't matter. Sib managed to get the LG. Looking for that heavy, but the heavy's not going to be up yet for the next 10 seconds. But ZenAku looking very, very solid here. Looking very, very good. Continuing with that consistency which we were questioning beforehand. Oh, he takes a beating from that last rocket. 82 HP, but good return rail from Sib.
Really unfortunate that that rocket actually popped Sib across, because that gave him the opportunity to get that frag. But the spawn is so good. The rockets, the air rockets from ZenAku. You absolutely insane person.
Yeah, this is much better from Sib. Looking at ZenAku, though, 68% rail to the 43% of Sib. Between me and you, though, Foley, it was 11%, but he's actually improved quite a lot over the last couple of minutes with his rail shots. And now ZenAku trying to drop down for the heavy. Not going to happen, as Sib starting to make a little bit of a comeback here. Still got 5.5 minutes left to work with. And yeah, like I said, looking much, much better. Got the map controls, got the height advantage. Misses that rail, but that was so important. It means that ZenAku may be able to get that heavy depending on where ZenAku is going to go next. Has picked up the health bubbles, manages to get the light as well. And Sib just hiding behind that telly, assuming that there's a possibility he may go through, which he will not. But the items aren't segregated enough for ZenAku to go for both. So, gentleman's agreement, ZenAku's going to go for the heavy. Sib was going to go for the Mega, but wanted to try and hit him first. But looks like the Mega may go in the hands of ZenAku, depending on which route he wants to take. But, oh, he absorbs that first rail shot, but nowhere near enough to be able to get away from that shotgun shot straight afterwards. So, ZenAku managed to increase his lead 6-3.
Decent damage with the peeker there. Unfortunately, the rocket won't land, and now the spit puts ZenAku in a weird position. He's going to actually push through it, doing good damage, almost getting the frag, and Sib dropping to his death, trying to steal the heavy on his way out, but nothing doing. ZenAku plants him again, 7-3, and Zen is just playing this so well. Dropping down, rockets, are they going to be enough? The LG from Sib is good, but not good enough. The stack is too big, and the Mega pops after. And this is starting to look a little more disastrous now. 5 frag lead for ZenAku. Kind of tightening his grip around the map as the item control slowly starting to favor Zen. Good rail from behind, needs a little bit more. Sib is actually going to push in aggressively using rockets and spit. He will get that frag back, and that's going to be a good push from Sib there as he converts.
Oh, it looks like ZenAku will be able to take down Sib there as he went up top. Well, what's Sib going to do? Picks up the LG, looking towards the Mega. Good first rail from ZenAku again. And has backed away for now. It's going to pick up the light. Oh, I was going to say he was almost going to go off the map from that last rocket. 74 HP. Still waiting for Sib to challenge here. Good rail, but both of them are so weak. He will pick it up. Oh, he does not. The acid, I'm afraid, does enough to back away. Yeah, and the rails come in, but still 3 minutes and 20 left here for you.
And that's just so disheartening, that spawn, as both players spawn. Oh, and the rails again from Sen, and I just feel like everything that Sib is doing is just countered by either rails, maybe an unlucky spawn. Sib doing a good job of melting them with the LG there. 3 minutes remaining for 5 frags on a map like this versus a Strog is going to be very difficult. But we've seen miracles happen on this map before.
Yeah, this series is literally night and day in comparison to their last series back at the Stage 1 finals. Still though, you've got to remember, Sib, even though he's been on the absolute grind over the last few months to get back into the Quake Pro League, he is here, but he's only been back in the Quake Pro League for the last few weeks, so still needs to take a little bit more time to ease himself in, but he has had a good start. Just sadly for him, he may lose this series to ZenAku and did lose to Saigip previously. Still has a little bit of time to work with. 2 minutes and 10.
Oh, beautiful fake. Oh, wow, and he doesn't even get the heavy, and Zen, what a play to bait the Sib out into the heavy. Reads it perfectly, gets the frag. Starting to land the rails. There's the Hail Mary rocket jump, and ZenAku just picks him out of the sky going skeet shooting.
That's one way of putting it, is ZenAku comes in with DLG to try and do a little bit of damage. ZenAku on 85 HP. Not going to be enough though for you. He's left on 37. He's made matters even worse, adding insult to injury, and now he's only got a minute 50 to make up for 8 frags. Looking highly unlikely.
And he's going to need more and more of those Hail Mary kind of all-in plays, and unfortunately Zen is just going to be too well equipped, although he is down to 100 no armor. So the opportunity's there, but you have to catch Zen, and he's on that Strog, super mobile. I think this one may be in the books as another 3-0 for ZenAku. And just really, really well played here. Good rockets as Sib gets around. Could get this one. The peeker, is that going to be enough? Pushing through the doorway is going to be murder next. A little bit of damage from either players to do, and the shotgun just reigns supreme again for Zen.
Yeah, looking so good. The only couple of things I may say about... Oh, this is just a joke now. As ZenAku... A few things you've got to be careful with is like when he goes for trade or contest the items, is to think a little bit more cautiously about how to approach some of the items, especially when you're on the default stack and default weaponry. But apart from that, though, he's been looking very, very good. I like how the fact that even when he tries to go for the refrag or goes for the trade frag, he does, like, even when he's on the offensive, like when he's got a huge lead, he doesn't really worry about the timings or anything like that. He does try and keep the map control no matter how far ahead or in terms of how far in terms of he is in the lead. And this is just ridiculous now. 17 to 5, 25 seconds left, looking so good.
I mean, it looks like Zen's feasting. He's cooking up that Sorlag, eating it like a turkey leg.
God.
Like, what else can you say about this? 17 to 5. Sib takes out Sib, make it 17 to 4. And the stats are going to be padded just a little bit. A little bit of gauntlet. Nope. ZenAku says, you know what, I'm going to go visit Rafa down here. I'll be back. I'll take that 3-0 and I'll just chill. 17 to 5. He puts a stamp on it on map number 3, Molten Falls. And just a big shouts to ZenAku. Again, asserting dominance and showing Quake Pro League that this may be another tier of ZenAku rather than what we're used to seeing.
2,357 more damage. That's ridiculous, especially on a map like Molten. Even just getting over 6k is just absurd. And sadly, I did miss out on the percentages. You know me, I love my stats, but have missed out on it. We'll check that out later. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's like I said, every 4 months, there's like a huge change into his style. And it's just a pleasure to watch. It's like a nice little storyline where we see him make these mass improvements. Like a lot of these players, especially in the Americas region, like Nosfer, Maxter, even Effortless recently, like we've seen them make such very subtle, tiny improvements, like more and more each week, each month. And it makes, you know, a huge impact over, a huge course of time. But every 4 months, ZenAku's just like, I've done this change today, and then literally continues on like every 4 months. It's just absolute madness. You wouldn't think it's the same person playing, would you? It's just crazy. But this is why I love Quake, and how some of his players make such huge improvements due to the fact that they've put so much time into the game, they've grinded so much, and it's just an absolute joy to watch.
Yeah, an absolute joy indeed, seeing everyone progress. And, you know, again, Sib has been in the Pro League before, but he was out of the league for a little bit, so this is just maybe a readjustment period. Getting Saigib and then back-to-back with ZenAku, both players very good, and I think we're going to see a better version of Sib as the weeks pile on and he gets more and more reps throughout the Pro League. As we take a look at the breakdown on map number 3 there, he does unfortunately go down to ZenAku 0-3, but I don't think this is the end of Sib by any means or anything like that. Just a rough go as ZenAku is really ascending to a new level of play.
Certainly has done indeed. You know, I'm going to mention it again. You know, 2,357 more damage, 68% rail. Just, you know, it just shows how much he's improved. Like, you know, his positional advantage, the angles he's holding, his strategic methods, and his aim, just everything is just coming together, and it's just a pleasure to see. And the fact that if he keeps this up leading up to the Stage 3 finals, we could see him achieve his best placement at the Stage 3 finals. I just hope that he continues with the grind and, you know, keeping up with the scrims. You know, even recently I've seen him playing against Kilson, I believe, like in a scrim, and he was doing really well. And it's just, like I said, it's just great to see. And it's nice to see some of his players make such huge improvements in their gameplay and make such a difference in the Pro League.
Absolutely. We got a lot of stage 3 left, though, so hopefully he's not peaking a little bit too early. But we are going to take a quick break and come back as we have a lot more Quake on the way. DJ Wheat's going to join us for the last 2 matches of the day, so don't go anywhere. Stick around. We will be back with more Quake action shortly.